So I can't even fucking believe this is a real thing, okay? It seems that the Republican presidential candidates are coming out against the poor now. Even though we already know that Republicans hate the poor, but now they're outwardly saying that part of the reason we have so many problems is because the bottom 50% don't pay any income tax. And a lot of them have phrased it in a way that makes it sound like the poor don't pay any taxes at all, which is a lie. They pay payroll tax, and I believe they pay sales tax. Not only are the Republicans totally in the pocket of the rich, which we already knew, they're now outwardly going out against poor people. Poor people are the targets. They're the problem. Well, here's something to think about. You know the reason that they don't pay income tax when you have a certain amount of income? Because you can't fucking afford it. But you know who can afford it percentile-wise? The rich. The top 5, 4, 3% who control the corporations, who control the lobbyists, who control the politicians, who control the country. If you actually look at the past, when our top tax rate was 80, 90% on the rich, our economy was great. Or if not great, a hell of a lot better than it is now. Because the rich can take it, and with that money we built schools and roads and social services until this new conservative Christian Republican Reagan-esque era of tying hyper-capitalism to hyper-religiousness. We are actually at a point in American history where the rich have outwardly declared economic war on the poor. And you know what a lot of the people who responded to this new attitude at these speeches and rallies thought? Oh yeah, that's great! Fuck the poor! And besides the moral implications of how insane it is that the Republican candidates want to raise taxes on the poorest people in the country, it's also economically completely unfeasible. If you take even more money out of the income of the poor, guess what happens? They can't afford anything. And all those people stop buying even more stuff. If you want the economy to be healthy, you tax the rich, not the poor. We need to put the taxes on the rich back where they were before those same rich people manipulated our tax code so that they run off with even more money. But the Republican voters, they don't care. They don't give a shit about that. They don't even know, and they don't want to know. All these people are so allied in their ignorance and their hatred of gays and their love of God that they're actually being led along by this bullshit. A big pile of red, white, and blue bullshit. The rich would love for this to happen. Why? Because you take even more money away from the poor, you tax them even more, you oppress them more, you take away more of their stuff, more of their freedom, make them pay more than their fair share while the rich are paying hardly anything. It keeps the poor down. You keep an entire class of people even more crushed than they already are. It is simple oppression from the top to the bottom because we live in a plutocracy, not a democracy, not a republic, okay? We are controlled by the wealthy. And while technically we're a republic, we could vote these people out. We could vote this Republican Party out of office. We're not gonna because all these poor, ignorant voters are never going to understand because they bought into this whole thing that has been specifically created to keep them in line in the first place. And as long as these Republicans keep going on about how they have good, wholesome Christian values, the Republican voters are never going to bat an eye. They're never going to care. They're not going to care. And if they're repeatedly told enough that the poor are now the enemy, then they're going to believe it.